earlier this morning, I read out, I think I have it here somewhere, I read out the top 10 mispronunciations. And God knows, from what I've seen now with you guys texting, it's only the tip of the iceberg. There are many people who mispronounce different words. But one of the big Cork ones is chimley. And I couldn't count on both hands the amount of times I've spoken with people on the air and we're chatting away and they're talking about blah, 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 chimley. And I always smile, not in a kind of condescending, mocking kind of way, saying, oh my God, you don't know how to pronounce chimney. I just think it's lovely. I just think it's cute. It's Cork, isn't it? Chimley. Or biscotti for spaghetti. I don't know who texted those two, but thank you for reminding me, because my kids, all their smally lives, said biscotti. Biscotti on toast. And I love it. Neil, what about the eye, ear and throat hospital? Everyone called it the Iron Throat Hospital, says Joe on the north side. Dead right. Absolutely right. The Iron Throat. Went into the Iron Throat. Bungalow instead of bungalow. Really? Yeah, stretching it a bit. Do people actually say bungalow instead of bungalow? Sandwich instead of sandwich. Sangwich. If you say that, please, would you do me a favour? Keep saying it. It's lovely. Rugby, the rugby match instead of rugby. That's very true. Rugby. We here in the office in Orchard Road Centre in the CUH are debating how is the surname Coughlin pronounced? Is it Coughlin, Cocklan, or is it Cawlan, Cawlan? The country people here in the office think it's Coughlin, but the city folks say Cawlan. Can you settle this for us? Help me, because I would have said that Cawlan probably is a city thing, or maybe Coughlin is the posh version.
It just depends, yeah.
They're both spelt the same, incidentally.
Spelt the same. I know Collins and Coughlins, and they're near the posh North City, so...
They're spelt differently.
Yeah.
There's a C-O-G-H and a C-O-U-G-H.
Is there a C-O-G-H?
I think there is.
Okay.
And that could be Coughlin then, couldn't it? C-O-G-H-L-A-N?
It could be. Do you know who'll answer you there now? Jer, because he's pulling us up on all sorts of wrongdoings here this morning.
Hello?
And just while you're on the air, you did find a mispronunciation of mine, did you, Emer?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
No, hang on a sec, Jar. No, just hang on a sec, Jar. I'm just going to give her her tuppence worth. Go on.
Oh, the one that always drives me mad. You say Italian, which is probably correct. He thinks he's an RTE newsreader. He'd be saying issue next.
I say Italian. I do. I just like the sound of it. Okay, I'll find one on you. But you're so perfect. You probably
I'm not. I'm far from it. And actually I'm mortified as well, because the word in itself, mispronunciation, is wrong because it's mispronunciation.
You also, both of you and Miss Dennehy, also thought the word was lackadaisical.
Yeah, that's what Jar is putting.
I thought it was laxy-daisy. My own thing. Laxy-daisy, D-A-I-S-Y.
That's Ballydesmond.
That's Ballydesmond, yeah.
All right, Jar.
Neil, hi.
Go ahead. Thanks for waiting. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Well, I just heard you mention this morning something about Silicon Valley, Neil, whereas it should be Silicon Valley.
I did do that. Yeah, well done. All right.
And what I've heard you mention down through the years is with regards. It should be with regard.
Oh my God, you're on a roll, kid. Keep it coming.
One more. I've heard you say, what do you say again? You say hone in on something. H-O-N-E.
Hone in, yeah. What's so wrong with that?
It should be home in, H-O-M-E.
And what's hone then? To sharpen, is it?
To sharpen something. Hone is to sharpen something. Home is like say a drone would home in on a target.
Oh my God! But would you say an awful lot of people like me say hone in?
Oh, there aren't too many people like doing you, lad. I'm only joking.
Well done. You got 3 or 4 there of my mispronunciations.
Yeah. And I might have to. My wife picks me up on, which is I say against, but it should be against.
That's even hard to mispronounce. Against.
So yeah, that's what I always. I've said that since day one of my life. But anyway, my wife tells me, and it's true. It should be against. But I say against.
Any more?
Let me think. I mean, I hear Matt Cooper. He's always saying news. Well, it should be news.
It's actually news, isn't it?
News, yeah.
But many of us say news.
He's not the only one. He's not the only one. But Matt Cooper in particular, I hear him say news. And anything else? Houses. I say house. I think older people say houses. It used to always be houses, but I hear younger people say houses. Like, do you think it's houses or houses?
For me, the word is house.
Yeah, but I would say more than one.
Singular is house, and the plural will be houses. You'd never say houses.
No, I hear a lot of people say houses.
What about I've got a few here. I done it instead of I did it. That's more grammatical than mispronunciation, I suppose.
That's true.
But it cracks up by leash, and I see other texts coming in as well. Let me get another couple of calls.
Another thing that bugs me big time. One thing that bugs me most is if you ever hear historians say, like that guy Diarmaid Ferriter, he'd be talking about, say, the Civil War 100 years ago, and he'd say something like Michael Collins travels down to Bail the Blaw. Whereas Michael Collins, actually, he went there 100 years ago. He should say he travelled down there. Like all historians, they talk about things like they're happening right now.
Because because it's a narrative. They're telling a story.
Well, yeah, but it's still wrong. But, it's kind of an affectation of historians that they.
You're very perceptive.
Well, anyway, look, you kind of gave me spur to contact.
No, I personally gave you a lot to work with, I think, didn't I? In fairness to me,
yeah. But anyway, look.
So come back and hone in on some of my other mispronunciations in the future.
Right, okay.
All the best. Cheers. A lot of texts on this. I find astronomy is also pronounced astrology. I don't think it's pronounced wrong. I think we just confuse what the two are. You know, texter says, I find astronomy is often pronounced astrology. And when I say I think I'm a bit of an astronomer, people say, what star sign are you? Astronomy and astrology is completely different. Lots of people in the media omit the first syllable of the word economy. I have never in my entire life heard anybody in media say the word economy. What about people who call you Niall instead of Neil? Well, that is a glaring mispronunciation. Not that it bothers me. They are two completely different names, completely different spellings. Fella at work always says hostable instead of hospital. It does my head in. I wouldn't mind, but we work in a hospital. Anyway, we'll come back to those. I think there's some calls on this as well. I gave you the top 10 earlier on this morning, and they say the top 10 most annoying are Pacifically for specifically, probably for probably, espresso for espresso, specially for especially, arctic instead of arctic, nuclear instead of nuclear, tender hooks instead of tenterhooks, etc. instead of etc. Accessory. Oh my God, I get that wrong all of the time. It's could you pass me the accessory instead of accessory, and triathlon instead of triathlon. Not that I could ever do either.
Neil Prendeville, the voice of Cork. Weekdays 9 to 12. Cork's Red FM.